But I also think that we learn the most in the most difficult situations, which is really hard. Which is again why business owners and people who have their own businesses usually have a better idea of how the world works. And each person has got their own way, which is why organizing things in life and society is it's amazing when things happen. Like when the delivery arrives on time, it's wow, that's amazing. Yeah, there's this language called English, and it's created from only 26 letters. Like wow, wow, all these different varieties of opportunity and possibility, and it's it's quite amazing. So I think it's important to understand two things. The first thing is that we never really completely see what other people see, um, which means that our vision of what they're doing is different from their vision of what they're doing. Maybe maybe to us they look like a homeless person, but maybe to them they feel like Superman, right? So we can't
Mouse. Yes.
we can't understand it until we begin to question it and study it in a lot more detail. Of course, once again, slightly more intelligent people can reach the important answers faster than other people usually through more experience, and problems can be avoided. But at the same time, and here's the great thing about business, correction is opportunity.
Mm.
Correction is opportunity. Making a mistake is a chance to connect with somebody on a deeper level. The same and same thing happens in personal relationships where there's a fight or an argument or something, and somebody says somebody takes that responsibility and they say, I'm sorry. It was me. Yeah. I did I did something wrong, or I should not have said what I said. What I said was bad, and or it was out of place, or it was in the wrong context, and this is the taking responsibility which allows people to move forward. And um, I think in business, one of the keys to development is retention of present clients and keeping them happy. Not only do we need new clients, we want to keep the present clients happy, so that if we make a mistake, I actually think that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity to go to somebody and say, look, there was this issue in our business. Somebody was sick. Somebody else had to cover for it. That's the reason why there's this mistake or this error here. I'm really sorry. I was wondering, is there something extra I can do for you in order to make up for this? Because I feel bad about it. If you don't need anything, it's okay. But I just want to say that I feel bad about it, and if there's something extra that I can do. And I'm amazed at how many people and how many businesses don't do that.
Mm.
They don't. And do you know how long? Do you know how long it takes to do that? It takes about 10 seconds. There's a lot we can learn from the situation of the error and the mistake. And the mistake is not the issue if we are willing to correct it, because there's always little mistakes in every process. And the corrections are important because the correction is opportunity, and service of the client is why good business exists. Um, and if you can turn negative into positive, that's such an amazing experience for life.
Mm.
Not just not just to do the right thing, but people people love positivity, and a lot of people expect negativity,
Mm.
but and, and
Yes.
and that will be their expectation when they go into situations. And if you can if you can if people can in their own mind realize that the positive approach creates more positivity, and that the negativity just leads to anger, resentment, fear, and eventually conflict in one way or another.
Mm.
Um, Christians understand this more than most people because the whole point of Christian is to love thy neighbor, right? So Christianity. So the positivity breeds more positivity. Um, Last week I ordered something from eBay, and it was a disc. And when it arrived, it was scratched, and it and I didn't want to put the disc into my disc player because when you put a scratched disc into a disc player, it's not good for the disc player.
Mm.
Basically, it can damage the disc player, and it's a risk. And I thought this is not good. So I took a photograph of the scratched disc, and I contacted the company, and I said, look, I got this disc. I bought this disc, and I'm unhappy because it's scratched. Is there a way that we can solve or resolve this problem? And I got a reply from them, which was, would you like A? We're sorry. Would you like A replacement disc, or B, your money back?
Mm-hmm.
And as I replied to them, I'd like my money back, and if that's possible, if that's okay. And they said, sure, no problem. We will process this immediately. And within an hour, I got my money back.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole process, which could have been potentially extremely negative,
Mm-hmm.
was mediated to avoid the situation getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's bad that you order something and it's not what you want, and when it arrives, you're disappointed, but the way in which the problem was dealt with quickly, efficiently,
Mm-hmm.
positively, um, was was excellent. I don't know if I would use that company
Again.
again,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to have a negative view
Mm-hmm.
of everything
Mm-hmm.
because of that, because they made an effort to solve the problem, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
The service of the client is the opportunity to build a bridge for future communication. The, there doesn't really exist a business that flows so smoothly and fluently that there are not some kind some kind of problems. Everything that is touched by human hands has some flaw or some element which is um, maybe unpredictable or maybe wrong
Mm-hmm.
um, within it. And even when something is perfect for one person, it's not great for the next person. Yeah, think about the complex nature of films, right? Somebody watches a film and thinks, "Wow, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen," and somebody else watches it and they say, "Oh, it's rubbish. What complete rubbish."
Yes,
And
yes.
and maybe and maybe it took years and years and years to make the film,
Mm-hmm.
and you needed writers and uh, directors and cameramen and actors and all these people professionally trained for long periods of time. And
Yes.
sometimes the result is, well, almost always the result is unpredictable. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
when you start to make the film if the film is going to be fantastic or terrible. And it's a lot of um, it's a lot of hard work both ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that there's an opportunity to connect when things don't work well. And I know myself and independent business people understand that if there's a mistake that I make, I want to give as much extra as I can to the person or the company that I wrong for my mistake. That I always want to know how can I give more, how can I be more, how can I return more, so that there's no loss. And not everybody understands that.
Mm-hmm.
There are people always looking to take and not looking to give, and they completely miss the point that life itself is a gift. I think that we forget as people sometimes the fact that what goes around comes around,
Mm.
as we say, that the good and positivity that we put out, it does come back at the end of the day, because of the simple reason that you can only build on truth and goodness. You can
Mm.
only build on truth and goodness. It's the difference between the rocks and the sand. Um, you, the only way that you can sustain or maintain or keep a lie is to tell another lie.
Mm.
That a lie cannot be supported by the truth ever. And and so for those that do good things and the right things, and this is confusing for a lot of people, because what a lot of people think is right is actually wrong,
Mm.
because the world is upside down. Yeah. Mm. Stay away from the sun, it's bad. Yeah, well, if we don't get enough sunlight, we die, just like everything in nature. So,
Mm.
uh, it's really important. Like, don't be selfish. Yeah, but if I don't look after myself, then I can't help anybody else. So, and that doesn't mean take from other people. That just means be aware of yourself, have some level of self-knowledge, and whether we like it or not, our characteristics, positive and negative, conscious and subconscious, are transmitted to our children, and it's it's difficult to realize.